Sean Combs is currently sitting in a federal cell at Fort Dix, but according to expedited court filings from February 8, 2026, the music mogul might be walking free much sooner than the public was led to believe. Most of the world watched the July 2025 verdict and thought the book was closed. The headline everyone remembers is the 50-month sentence for Mann Act violations. But while the internet moved on to the next viral moment, a massive legal pivot was happening behind the scenes. The reality is that the music industry is currently in a state of absolute panic because of a specific date. April 9, 2026. This isn't just about one man's freedom anymore. This is about a fast-tracked appeal that could unravel the legal precedents used to protect victims across the entire entertainment business. Today, we are going deeper than the surface-level headlines to show you exactly how the elite are preparing for a potential earthquake. We are going to look at the receipts that prove why this appeal is moving at a speed rarely seen in the federal system. We will answer 3 critical questions that the mainstream media is largely ignoring. First, what is the specific legal technicality in the February filings that could void the entire sentencing? Second, why are major A-list stars suddenly liquidating their multi-million-dollar catalogs and real estate holdings in what looks like a coordinated fire sale? And third, how will the results of the April 9th hearing determine who gets named in the next wave of civil subpoenas? We have mapped out the timelines, pulled the appellate briefs, and consulted with legal strategists to show you the shadow game being played while the cameras are turned away. This is the reality of the Diddy loophole, and the stakes have never been higher for the people who thought they were safe. To understand why everyone is sweating, we have to look at the money first. The most shocking reality of early 2026 isn't a courtroom outburst, but a massive shift in the bank accounts of the Hollywood elite. According to a report from Bloomberg on February 12, 2026, there has been a 300% increase in celebrity music catalog sales over the last quarter. This isn't just a coincidence or a change in tax law. When you see artists like Britney Spears closing landmark deals in late 2025, or news breaking about the Deftones selling their majority stakes to Warner in February 2026, you have to ask, why now? Financial experts suggest liquidity is the only defense against a coming wave of litigation. If you are a celebrity who knows a subpoena is coming on April 9th, you want your assets in cash, not in royalty streams that can be frozen or seized by a court. Per a strategic analysis from Variety on January 30th, 2026, these sales are often tied to peace of mind clauses that protect the artist from future liability claims involving the buyer. The industry is essentially trying to scrub its balance sheets before the legal floodgates open. The payout here is simple but terrifying. The big players are cashing out because they know the silence for sale era is ending. For decades, the industry used non-disclosure agreements and massive private payouts to bury stories. But, per the new filings in early 2026, judges are increasingly willing to pierce those NDAs in the interest of justice. This means the money being moved today is the war chest for the legal battles of tomorrow. Now we have to address the most shocking point of this entire investigation, and it centers on a legal concept that sounds simple but could change everything. Around the 3-minute mark of this new legal saga, we find the acquitted conduct trap. According to the defense's appellate brief filed on February 14, 2026, the judge in the original trial made a massive procedural error that could lead to a total resentencing. The core of the argument is that the judge improperly factored in conduct that the jury actually acquitted Combs of. You have to remember, while the public focused on the 50-month sentence, the jury actually found him not guilty of the heaviest charges, including racketeering, and the most severe counts of sex trafficking. However, during the sentencing phase in October 2025, the judge used a preponderance of evidence standard to increase the prison time based on those very same acquitted acts. Per a report from the New York Law Journal on February 11, 2026, the Supreme Court has recently signaled a deep skepticism toward this practice. The Diddy legal team is banking on the Second Circuit Court of Appeals to rule that using ghost charges to pad a sentence is unconstitutional. If they win on April 9th, it doesn't just mean a shorter sentence for Combs. It creates a precedent that could protect every other industry mogul currently under investigation. This is the re-hook that has victims' advocates terrified. If the Diddy loophole works, it sends a message to the entire industry that as long as you can win a partial acquittal, the judge can't touch you for the rest of your alleged history. This leads directly into the third major question: who is actually on the new subpoena list? The expectation was that the July 2025 verdict would be the end of the guest list drama. The reality is that the civil side of the law is just getting started. According to a leaked memo from a prominent law firm on February 5, 2026, a new wave of subpoenas have been prepared for the upcoming battery trials set for this summer. These documents reportedly name 3 major A-list stars who were previously thought to be clean during the federal investigation. The payout here is the breakdown of the industry's inner circle. For years, these individuals were protected by the federal government's focus on the head of the snake, but civil court has a much lower bar for evidence. Per a report from The Hollywood Reporter on February 9, 2026, these new subpoenas are focusing on the facilitators, the people who allegedly provided the transport, the locations, and the security for the now infamous freak-offs. The April 9th hearing is the pivot point. If Combs wins his appeal, he becomes a much more dangerous witness in these civil cases. He has less to lose and more to gain by negotiating his own settlements at the expense of his former friends. This is why the industry is holding its breath. The insider takeaway is that the loyalty that held Hollywood together for 30 years is evaporating in real time. While the legal teams fight it out, the stars are testing a new kind of defense in the court of public opinion. We are seeing the rise of the AI defense. Take the viral incident involving Cardi B at the T-Mobile Arena on February 14, 2026. When a damaging clip began circulating, her immediate response on social media was to claim the footage was a sophisticated deep fake. While she might have been joking, industry insiders see this as a high-stakes test run. If a star can convince the public that a simple stage mishap is fake, they're laying the groundwork to convince a jury that incriminating video evidence is also a digital fabrication. According to a PR strategist interviewed by Rolling Stone on February 10, 2026, this is a calculated poisoning of the well. By the time the April 9th evidence becomes public, the average person will have been conditioned to doubt their own eyes. This is the new playbook for the 2026 era of celebrity drama. It isn't about proving you didn't do it. It's about making the truth seem impossible to find. We are seeing this strategy applied across the board, from the 2026 Grammy Awards to the latest reality TV scandals. The labels are no longer just managing music, they're managing the very concept of reality. The cultural rift is also widening between the old guard and the new generation of stars. At the 2026 Grammys, we saw a total blackout of anyone even remotely adjacent to the late 1990s bad boy inner circle. Per a report from Billboard on February 3, 2026, major artists were strongly discouraged from mentioning the Combs case on the red carpet to avoid being tied to the April 9th fallout. This has created a massive tension within the hip-hop community. On one side, you have the new guard like Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar, who took home record-breaking awards and are actively distancing themselves from the industry's dark past. On the other, you have the veterans who feel they're being unfairly scrubbed from history. The payout here is the total professionalization of celebrity fear. New morality clauses are being written into contracts that allow labels to drop an artist the moment a subpoena is issued, rather than waiting for a conviction. This is the Diddy-proof era of music. It's a cold, calculated shift that values the bottom line over the legacy of the artists who built these empires. According to industry lawyers, these clauses are being used as leverage to force older artists into selling their catalogs for less than they are worth, further fueling the fire sale we discussed earlier. As we look toward the April 9th date, the summary of the situation is clear. The Diddy saga didn't end with a prison sentence. It only entered its most dangerous phase. The unique angle here is the collision of a fast-tracked legal loophole with a desperate industry trying to purge its past before the receipts become permanent. The insider takeaway is that the true story isn't being told in the headlines. It's being told in the property records and the catalog sales. Watch the stars who are suddenly liquidating their lives in the next 60 days. They're not retiring. They're preparing for a world where their NDAs no longer hold power. The expedited appeal is a signal that the legal machine is either correcting a massive mistake or buckling under the weight of the names involved. This isn't just about justice for the victims. It's about the survival of the Hollywood infrastructure as we know it. The April 9th hearing will be the most consequential day in music history since the original verdict. If the sentence is vacated, the floodgates of civil litigation will open, and the names we've only heard in whispers will finally be read into the public record.
You need to see the bigger picture of how the industry protects its own, and how those protections are finally starting to crack. The receipts are there, the timelines are clear, and the money is already moving. To truly understand how deep this playbook goes and which stars are next on the list of the silence for sale collapse, you have to look at the patterns of the last decade. The trial was the first chapter, but the appeal is where the real names come out. To get the full breakdown on the other moguls currently in the crosshairs and the secret settlements that haven't hit the news yet, you need to dive into our Fresh Celebrity Tea playlist right now. The April 9th deadline is closer than it looks, and in this industry, being the last one to know the truth is the most expensive mistake you can make.